Hello and welcome back to Two Burns Cinema Club. We are finally back.
We're so back.
We are so back. We are so back indeed. Episode 4 now. We're on. Getting through these episodes.
Not really. We had a massive break.
Well, it's
Because
slowly but
we
surely,
fucked
we're-
off for 2 weeks. Yeah, I've been good. We went on holiday, didn't we?
Yeah, been on a big European road trip. Switzerland, France, Belgium. Well, the less we speak about that night out in Bruges, the better, I think,
Yeah.
for all this is involved. Not that we can remember, but we've also been back enough time to watch a lot of films, haven't we?
Yeah, it's been a lot out, hasn't there, really?
There's been a lot out indeed, and we'll be talking about some of those movies today. And we're going to start with F1. Big new movie out, starring Brad Pitt, Javier Bardem,
Yeah.
Damien Idris, and pretty much funded, sort of interestingly, from F1 themselves in a way.
It's
I
like,
mean-
and with Apple, it's in it as well, so it's kind of both those companies, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's an interesting new way to sort of get a big film. You've got
It's a big advert, isn't it,
it's a
really?
big advert. I mean, well, I'm sure we're talking about. There's so many like product placements in that film.
God,
It's
loads.
like Pepsi, like everything. Like, but yeah, like the budget's 200 million, I think it was.
It
Which
could be more than that. They said
think-
they said anything between 200 and 300 million, which seems like a big gap if you ask me.
there's a big gap, but I think they're gonna make. Well, we'll get into it in a bit after, but I think they're definitely gonna make their money.
Oh
back
yeah,
there.
well I think it already has, to be fair.
But obviously, they were able to attach it to the F1 brand. It was called Formula One. All the drivers were in it from the 2023 season. And they were sort of, I guess, without paying too much extra, being able to sort of film alongside the season. And it's probably the first time we've seen sort of a movie do this with a sport and sort of like be able to get all that access that they had, which was brilliant, really. And
Yeah.
it did make, well, we'll get on in a bit, if however realistic or not the movie is, but at least it definitely felt lived in. It felt real in that sense. The environment felt real, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I know a few people have problems with it, and they kind of you're kind of hardcore more F. I can imagine, as someone who knows just enough about F1, maybe not loads, but someone who knows a decent amount, I could see that a lot of maybe hardcore F1 fans may be frustrated a little by it.
I mean, well, we'll get on to sort of the plot of the movie to start with, just to sort of explain. Well, so you've got Sonny Hayes, which is
Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt, yeah, he's a sort of aging driver. We see he lives in a van. That's sort of the first scene we see.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Do we see some shots of him racing originally?
We see him at the Daytona.
That's it,
Which is
Daytona in
like-
America. Is it like, I'm not sure where that is, to be honest, but it's it's sort of like NASCAR, isn't
Yeah.
it, sort of race. It's 20, I think it's like overnight, isn't it?
Oh, it's like Le Mans, but I assume some kind of American thing.
Yeah,
So
so
Le
we
Mans
see him-
24.
We see him wake up in that van, and we got Led Zeppelin playing.
Yeah, whole lot of
That was
love.
a good intro, wasn't it?
Big fan of the music in the film on the whole. To be honest, there was some
Yeah.
really good songs in there.
As soon as that music came on, I was like, yeah, here we go. This is going to be quite good, I think. But yeah, we see that opening. We see then he sort of just goes from race to race. He moves on quickly. He doesn't settle down. That's the impression we get anyway.
Yeah.
And then he's in sort of a laundrette sort of place, isn't he? Doing
Yeah.
his washing.
Yeah.
And then Javier Bardem, who plays Ruben, the race manager at Apex GP.
Apex GP, that's what it's called.
that is, which is sort of a fictional.
It's a team that's been made up just for the film, isn't it? So that
Yeah.
normally is in there's 12 teams, is it, or whatever? But I think
Yeah.
there's 13 teams in this because this one's been added.
Yeah. So yeah, and then he's sort of telling them he's trying to recruit Sonny Hayes. They used to race back in the day in F1 30 years ago, but Sonny had a big crash, which is sort of recurring in the movie. It's a theme.
So
that-
isn't this crash is actually based off some a guy, like he was an actual F1 driver. This isn't. It was based. The film of the guy, how he crashed was based about a guy who did crash in real life. I know that.
Oh, I didn't know that. No.
I can't remember who it was, but I just know that part of it is slightly based off that.
But he didn't come back like Sonny Hayes.
I don't know. I just know that about that part.
Yeah. So yeah, he recruits him and he sort of persuades him in the end. So he flies over to England where the sort of the race camp is, and he starts a journey with them. He meets the driver, Damien Idris, Jonathan Pierce is the other driver. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we sort of see a struggling team and how they sort of get better through tactics. And this is where it gets a bit more into like, is it realistic? 'Cause they start using quite dirty racing tactics, or is Sonny Hayes does. But the main key point is teamwork. He's actually playing as a team. He's not being this team player, but that's what we're seeing from him, and that worked really well. As a
I did like that.
Say what you want about whether it's realistic or he'd been banned or something, but it worked well, didn't it? And generally, overall, I'd say the race scenes in this film are so good. Best race scenes in a movie I've seen. I know you some Rush, I've seen Ford v Ferrari, and they were good films, but the race scenes had nothing on this, did they? What did you think?
I think maybe where the kind of story does maybe fall a bit more flat.
It's very simple.
It's simple.
It's a redemption arc.
And the kind of the way it's set up, you know one of them's gonna win it, don't you? You know one of and it's pretty obvious in that fact, but the actual race scenes are nothing quite like what we've seen, especially with like we get these in kind of driver views as well, which I think this was kind of, I know a lot of people say like back in F1 we hear their radios, but I think all I would say about F1, it kind of lacks personalities, doesn't it?
Well,
and I think that's what
they got with Drive to Survive. The Netflix show has sort of brought the personalities to the track, and now it's got a lot more popular because of that. And then you see now they're really trying to play into that, these race drivers as celebrities, as people. But that's one thing they actually did do in this movie. I don't know if you noticed, but the visors, you can actually see through them. Yeah. You can see their eyes, which isn't the case in real F1. No. They're blacked out, you can't see it, because I'm sure there's a reason why you can't.
There'll be a mechanical or fully fledged reason, but it wouldn't be that great if you're from the film standpoint. If you just saw a black visor, you don't really see the emotions of like our character, really, do you?
No. I mean, in terms of how they film this as well, like you said, the race scenes are so realistic, is because on some races, I think the first lap, they were able to trail behind the two cars in the film, were able to trail behind the actual races and like sort of be in the race, weren't they? I'm not sure how they did it in terms of making it look like they were passing people and stuff.
It's like there's a good amount of scenes filmed on actual race days and everything, isn't it? I don't know if you've seen like the behind the scenes of it, but I've seen some clips back and just some of the drivers are just like, what on earth is going on? Because it's like, there was one who was like Max Verstappen was at the end. He was probably just about to race. He just got Brad Pitt. Yeah. These two actors rock up just to kind of film their movie while they're about to race.
The scene where they announced who'd won, like the end of the race. Obviously, Sonny Hayes won. They filmed that twice with Jonathan Pitt winning. Not Jonathan, it's Joshua, isn't it?
It's Joshua, yeah.
Sorry.
JP.
JP. He used that nickname a lot. They filmed two different endings in terms of who won.
I didn't realise that.
Because the fans in the crowd, so they didn't know who won when the film came out.
It makes sense.
Yeah. But actually when you see that, you can see, I think Charles Leclerc looks a bit deflated in it, and because they just filmed that after he just lost the Constructors' World title, so, sorry now, you've got to come act.
No, you need
you're not going to be able to act or like actually...
Come be in our film, please.
Like act happy or whatever they wanted them to do. It's quite funny. But the realism they got from that, I mean, guys, they couldn't act, could they, really? And they didn't give them any lines, really.
No, but it's not their job. It's not their job, is it?
But just the fact their cars were there and all the branding and everything was there really helped the immersion of the film, I thought.
It was, I don't know, they were talking about this on the Rest of Entertainment, and I got it from that, about how like they didn't actually use F1 cars. They used, to actually film all these scenes that weren't used by the actual races, it was all F2 cars. Oh, really? Because it's just, they cost like 30 grand and the F1 cars cost loads to hire out for a day, and they have to hire out multiple, so they like, it's 250 grand to hire out one F1 card for the day. And bear in mind they need about 20,
Yeah.
So they had to go for the F2 cars and just make them look like F1 cars.
Well, I thought
To
they
save
filmed a lot
money.
of it on race day, or maybe that's just.
I think they did, but they can't film like, you know, when a lot of it.
Each other
Yeah,
and
they
stuff
can't
like
film
that.
stuff like that really.
Yeah,
Cause
that's true. I wasn't sure how they did that. So definitely got some shots on race day and stuff like that.
yeah.
But yeah, and also people saying the crash when Joshua appears, JP, crashes. They were saying that sort of flings off into the air. That was sort of unrealistic. Like,
I'm not sure
but
about
again, I don't really care. Like,
No.
to be honest, it's a movie, and the level of realism they put into it was, you know, the mechanical side of F1.
I mean, we saw these things about all I would say, like, some of the just when they were talking about, like, they dumbed it down so much.
Definitely
I know, and
dumbed it down.
I get they know they have to dumb it down, but it was stuff like, it was when they were both, it was like, whoever loses this will be in last place, kind of.
Yeah.
It just,
So the commentators, like Martin Brundle, and I forgot the other guy's name, but who are the actual F1
yeah, they
commentators?
are. Yeah.
The amount of exposition they were getting through is crazy.
Mm.
Like, I think you said on that podcast that you listened to,
Yeah.
they said if there was an Oscar for exposition, it would go to these commentators. They were like, it's so much filler, like,
The
to
thing,
fill in. I think sometimes a bit unnecessary, but it
Yeah.
really was to, like.
I listened to that before and then I watched it and then I just couldn't stop noticing it the whole film.
Yeah, I know.
And it was just like, okay, yeah, I get it. I get why they do it because they need the average person to understand and enjoy the film.
Some of it was like,
But some of it-
self-explanatory.
Yeah.
It was a lot of exposition from the commentators.
Hmm.
But overall, I thought it was a great film. The story was simple. It was a redemption arc. Brad Pitt wasn't this overpowered guy. He was actually aging. He was
Yeah.
still good. Yeah, and then the relationship between them, the sort of the growing of friendship and teamwork. I think were all good things, and like it was. I think it was just a cool film. It was a good film.
Yeah.
Solid film. I think people had a problem. I saw reading with like the relationships with Kate McKenna was the name of the character. The race engineer. She was sort of
She was like head of like, is it wind or like?
yeah. Well, she was sort of an engineer, head engineer. She was doing all the like aerodynamics, things like that, and she ends up doing a one night stand with Brad Pitt's character. But people said it wasn't needed and stuff. I didn't mind it personally.
Yeah, but
It
I
wasn't
was a bit like, it just felt so it did feel unnecessary for me. I thought it was just
I
like,
don't know. I like them as like. I didn't see it at the time. I didn't see it as like a one night stand thing. I thought it was like just a cool like relationship forming. Like I didn't see it as like that, and I thought she was still portrayed as like a strong woman.
Yeah.
Like she was smart, she was intelligent, she was making a lot of decisions. She was the one who got them going again. She sort of made that adjustment to the car that put them on a good path. Like she was shown as a good character. I thought, a well-rounded character.
Yeah.
Just because they slept together doesn't mean.
No, I know,
much.
but I don't know. That's the only thing I would say. But I did like a lot of the characters.
Also, the way it was portrayed, it was very much her sleeping with him rather than him sleeping with her. Like it didn't feel like.
I guess, yeah.
I didn't have too much of a problem with it, but again, it didn't affect the plot too
No,
much for me.
no.
It didn't feel that cheap where it affected things, and it didn't feel unnecessary. And I think, yeah, overall, I think it was a great film. I think I've got a few stats here about sort of the box office. So it kicked off the opening weekend. I think it had an earlier weekend.
Yeah,
Thursday
came out, I
some
think.
holiday in America, maybe. I think $57 million at the domestic box office, so just in US, which is the highest grossing opening weekend in history for Apple Studios.
They
This is
haven't had many successes. When it comes to films, they had Napoleon, but that wasn't really considered a success,
No.
to be honest.
Well, people probably thought that was going to be a bit better than it was. And
People were really excited about that, and I think it kind of didn't really meet what people wanted.
No. But yeah, this is by far Apple's biggest
Yeah.
film. I mean, obviously, they've had some good shows. Masters of the Air, Ted Lasso. of
Ted
course,
Lasso,
probably
Ted Lasso is massive. It's probably
their biggest show.
their biggest kind of IP, I guess.
Yeah. What else to say here? So yeah, it's already in Brad Pitt's top 20 highest grossing movies, and I'm sure it's going to be, could be his number one, could be maybe not number one, but top 5 for sure, I think.
I wonder what his number one is.
I'm not sure.
I'm not going to ask you because I don't know.
And right now it's got a worldwide gross of $237 million. It's been out for a couple of weeks, has it? Maybe less?
Yeah.
I think less. So yeah, it's on a really good course. But yeah, what would you rate the movie then? If you had to sort of rate it out of 10, not that we want.
I'd give it like a good solid 8.
Yeah, definitely. I'd definitely watch it again. It's got a good rewatchability. And again, it very much, we were saying, reminded us of Top Gun Maverick, and it was just sort of a simple story.
But
didn't mess about.
sometimes that's what you want, though, isn't it? You go to the cinema and you just want a simple, not simple, but you just want something you can really just enjoy.
Yeah,
and that's
so
what
enjoyable.
I felt. Like, yeah. I don't know, it just flowed well. I wasn't bored. It was long, but it didn't feel that long.
I was like, it did not drag at all.
No.
Me. I was like, I want more of this.
Yeah.
That's how I felt all the time going through it. I had to go to the toilet at one point. I was putting it off the whole time.
Somehow I went to the toilet 4 times during this. I don't know how it happened.
Really?
I don't know how.
That's crazy.
But I had a lot to drink before. It was bad.
The toilet's quite far away in the cinema as well. I sort of picked it in a race because I knew, like, I went in that Budapest Grand Prix. I was like, I'm picking a race and I won't miss any like key dialogue. But then the race scenes are like the coolest.
Yeah,
scenes.
I don't know. I didn't pick any races.
Yeah. I don't know. I wish I probably didn't pick a race.
Yeah, that's kind of. I'm not sure about that.
I was only gone for a minute, so it was okay.
Where would you rate this out of, like, you know, the where would you rate this out of all the race films you've seen? So let's say rate it out of
including Cars.
We'll put Cars in there.
Cars 2 vibes about this film. I'm going in American, Brad Pitt, Lightning McQueen, going to F1.
So I guess we'll put Ford versus Ferrari, Rush, and F1.
Yeah.
If you can order them.
I hadn't finished Rush, to be fair.
You haven't okay.
And I did like that from what I've seen. Maybe story-wise, Rush is probably better.
Yeah.
I think it's probably better than Rush. F1.
I'd probably put it.
Ford v Ferrari for me is first.
I'd say my order would be Rush, F1, Ford v Ferrari.
Yeah, but again, people who were saying that, oh, this is unrealistic. Ford v Ferrari, Ken Miles, played by Christian Bale, mate, he just passes past people. He glides past people. He's OP, isn't he? It doesn't make sense.
There wasn't as much. I remember in that film there was a lot of him just. It just seemed very easy. The only time he ever struggled was the person in first place.
Yeah.
Where he actually struggled to go. Even then, I don't think I feel like I can't remember, but I feel like I think I know because like in F1 it's all very tactical about how you overtake
and
someone.
I think that part of F1 they portrayed that well. They didn't seem OP in that sort of sense, did they? They portrayed that bit well.
With Rush, I can't remember seeing the F1 scenes as being outstanding, but
no.
But then again, it was made, a good few years ago compared to, and that was also set before that as well. That was set. I can't remember what year, but
yeah, I mean, I read something saying just highlighting that Ford v Ferrari isn't exactly realistic.
No,
the way that portrayed the film is like Ken Miles built the car himself.
Yeah,
like this outstanding mechanic who's also like this incredible driver. When that's based off a real story, that wasn't the case.
But I think for me, so like Ford versus Ferrari, you get the both best kind of racing scenes, and then you also get this great story. F1 story's still good, but not great. Just quite simple, but just fine. But you got these incredible racing scenes, and then Rush, this incredible story, but the racing scenes probably lack it a bit.
Yeah, for me, if I was ranking those three, I'd go and again, they're all quite good. They're all good films. There's no doubt about it. They're all good films. I'd go Ford v Ferrari, F1, Rush, I think.
And then you'd put Cars right on the top.
Yeah, and then Cars 2. Yeah. Any other racing films?
Cars 3?
There aren't Cars? I don't know. Racing films.
Gonna be missing a big one now, aren't we?
Oh, we've also Gran Turismo. We saw that, didn't we? That was not on the same level as
it's good. It was alright though.
Yeah, better than expected maybe. There's not been loads really, has there? There was that Ferrari film. I think that was a bit of a flop.
I think that Ferrari film's more about maybe
Days of Thunder. I've heard about that. I haven't seen that. That's Tom Cruise, I think. And then who can forget the Fast and Furious movies?
Yeah,
I wouldn't say they're racing movies.
Let's forget.
They definitely started as that. Anyway, let's move on now to our sort of next film. So we're going to be covering 3 films today. We've
Don't tell them.
Don't tell them what?
Don't tell them what films we're covering.
Well, I have to tell them the next one.
We tell them the next one.
How to Train a Dragon, the live action version. Saw this a couple of weeks ago now. And it was good, wasn't it? Ewan, what did you think?
It was great.
Great.
As someone who was this is probably one of my favourite animated movies ever, I'd say. And to see it in live action and done well as well. Like, there was changes, but not many. And I actually think the changes made sense, to be honest.
Of course, this was directed by the same person.
Well, it's made a lot of the team behind the ones who made the first one, and of course, like, it was DreamWorks' first live action, wasn't it? Really,
and it is very much a carbon copy of the animation. It was put onto a live action screen. So what changes did they make, do you think?
So the ones off the top of my head were like the whole island was made, so like it was from those people from different kind of countries and across the globe came to Burke to kind of fight against the dragons, which is
a way to get diverse.
But I'd say there's probably a way to make, probably get more of a diverse cast, isn't it? Which I think it's a good explanation behind why, because I think that makes sense the most, if you ask me, because
it's a good reason. If you want to get a more diverse cast, it's definitely a good reason rather than just putting them there.
Because just by having, like, these kind of Scandinavian, Nordic kind of Vikings, and then there's just, I don't know, it's really diverse. It doesn't make too much sense.
Wouldn't make sense, but they give a good explanation for that reason. We're not going to say, did they need it or not? But you could say that, why change it? No. But again, it's not a big enough change that would even bother me, to be honest, isn't it?
Yeah, and then that's probably about it from what I can think off the top of my head, but like...
What would you say to people who would say, is a live action needed when this film has dragons which you need to animate anyway? Would you say, is there even need for live action when it's pretty much carbon copy of the original? Maybe not, but it's like, it's cool at the same time to have that, and I get, I mean, DreamWorks can definitely be on their high horse about at the moment, considering Disney have done a lot more than that. They can, and this is sort of their first foray into live action. And I'm sure we'll see more live actions. Well, I don't even know if we will from DreamWorks. I mean, I think we will, because. But what do we get? What live action for, like? Do we? I don't know what films we get live action from DreamWorks. Shrek. Maybe, but I don't know. It's just. Yeah. What else is DreamWorks? Kung Fu Panda. But it's like, but at the same time, it's like, why would you do? Well, actually, saying this, Lion King did it because there's a bunch of animals. It's quite hard to make Kung Fu Panda live action, though, isn't it? Really. Yeah, that's silly. They're all standing up. Exactly. So imagine having pandas stood up and just like a tiger stood up. It doesn't really make sense as much. The thing about the Lion King is they're real unrealistic. At least ninja fighting. They're all like animals, aren't they? They're all one with nature as much. They're very much still in their actions very animalistic. Yeah. They're not using nunchucks and flying around and standing up and whatnot. Yeah. But you got any stats on sort of how this film did? I know it's done very well, hasn't it? I think. And I think it's done. It had a budget about 200. I think it was 180, 200 million, which is probably, I think, from what people are saying, quite high for a live action remake. But I understand why, because, as you say, the dragons and the film was beautiful. It looked great. It really did. Yeah, the filming locations were cool, I think, weren't they? Yeah, I know a lot of it. I think some of it was filmed in Northern Ireland. A lot of the scenes were. Yeah, so I've got the stats here. So it made, as of today, which is the 6th of July. 6th of July. Yeah. It's made $471 million worldwide. That's 215 million in the US and 256 million internationally. That's pretty good. That is. I mean, if you say it's a budget of 200 million, it's more than doubled that budget. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty decent. I'd say that's very good. I mean, by the time this is over, I'm sure it'll be up to about 600 million at least. It's still got a lot of showings from what I'm seeing. It's got a lot of. And we know animated films or like kids. They have a long longevity, don't they? Yeah. And they do make a lot of money. Kids films are pretty much not all of them, but like
you've got a good chance of making money when you're making, especially when it's one of these IPs. I say most of them will make a good amount of money.
Yeah.
Either it's from cinema or after. It's got all the films have a good afterlife on like streamers, don't they?
Mm.
You look at like I bet Shrek does does incredible numbers on streamers.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure about live actions. I'm trying to think of other films they could do live actions for.
Well, let me get sort of a list of DreamWorks.
Get them up and we'll see whether they can be adaptable. Because I have a feeling that it's maybe with some of their films could be potentially a bit harder.
Mm.
You found them or it's not? You know.
I've got them, yeah. I'm just going to go to the most recent ones just to... So, we had The Wild Robot recently, which I still haven't seen, but I know
it's a great film.
Is that great, is
yeah.
it? Do you want to talk about that maybe a bit?
I was thinking it felt like a classic animated film. It had, it showed great messages and it kind of almost showed like what humans have done to the earth and like what we should be doing for our animals and nature and as a whole. And
I haven't seen it. I'd like to see it.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's got Oscars in as well.
Yeah, so glad we'd like that. So in terms of IPs, we've got Puss in Boots. Could be done for live action. It is mainly human.
There is humans in that, so yeah.
Creatures,
that could be done for live action.
The Croods. That could be done.
Yeah, but it's
would you want to see it? Not really.
I feel like that'd be too real.
Yeah.
Like.
It'd be creepy.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Aardman, obviously, like the clay animation company, did a like a caveman one, didn't they? First Man, is it?
Yeah.
No.
Wallace and Gromit live action, is that what you say?
No, the charm of that is the fact that
imagine.
We've got Trolls. Just dance, dance.
James Corden as a troll.
Madagascar.
Yeah.
That could work.
Maybe, but...
They're more like...
with this stuff like that, you need to be too... Because you're not careful, you go down this kind of uncanny valley, don't you, with these animals, and they just all look a bit...
weird.
They need to look real, but they also need to look playful and joyful.
I mean, obviously Lion King did really well, but again, like
it's only animals, though.
We've said this before about Lion King, we talked about Disney's live action, it's a bit weird when they're talking. It just... there's no emotion there that you can really get with the other animation, you can get through animation. You've got Megamind.
Love that.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
What?
Yeah.
You've never seen Megamind?
Is it good? You're like my go-to animation correspondent here, DreamWorks correspondent.
It's alright. I haven't watched it in years. It's not one I'd probably go back to. But as a kid's film, I probably quite enjoyed it.
Turbo?
Oh, what a film. That's a good film, that is. But once again, why didn't we could have included that in the racing films?
Is that DreamWorks answers Cars?
No, it's DreamWorks' answer to F1.
Sure. But feasibility for live action?
Doable. But then again, how do you make a snail look like a race car?
Monsters versus Aliens?
Yes. But also could be a bit scary and a bit...
Yeah, you could do that.
But that's quite an iconic film,
like
I'd say.
It's like a Goosebumps film, which is similar to that in a way, I'd say.
Yeah. Maybe.
B-movie?
Isn't the bee trying to shag some girl or something? Have
I
got that wrong?
B-movie, I've only seen clips from
it. That's what I got.
I don't think we need live action of that.
No.
Rushed Away?
Isn't that Arden?
But it's also DreamWorks, yeah.
Not really. I would rather not. Just...
Over the Hedge?
Oh God, DreamWorks have some good films, don't they? No, because no.
Spirit? Stallion of... I have seen that before.
That could probably get away with a live action.
Is it big enough to do that?
It's probably not big enough.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we'll stop it there with DreamWorks. Basically, we don't think there's that much.
No, I don't think there's too much there.
But would you said that How to Train Dragon's got potential for that?
Yeah.
You would have.
I would. That's probably why they've done that one first as well.
Is very much one that's remained popular with
I mean-
like younger people.
I mean, look, we've got a new Universal park from the How to Train Your Dragon. I know it's probably all coming the right. It's all been planned to come out at the same time.
Well, I
and
wouldn't be
everything,
surprised now if you get another How to Train Your Dragon film, but not it'd be How to Train Your Dragon live action too, but not a carbon copy of
You think?
the second one.
Well, hot take. I actually think How to Train Your Dragon 2 is better than the first one. Maybe
Really?
it's one that's really good. Like
Is that a hot
even
take?
even more emotional. But no, people.
Is that the one with the mother?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people would agree with me, but
There's even like a series, isn't there? A TV.
yeah, I used to watch it when I was younger.
Yeah. Is that enough for How to Train Your Dragon?
I'd say so. I mean,
Moving on to
well-round success, I'd say.
Yeah, what would you give it out of 10 then? Or maybe
I really enjoyed it actually. I remember thinking, 8.5.
8.5.
Yeah.
Right, so if you had to get rid of one film, F1 or How to Train Your Dragon live action, which one are you getting rid of?
Shit.
I know this is a silly question in a way because they're not comparable, but
That's quite tough actually.
just
But
for us in this context.
no,
which
yeah,
one
actually,
you like more?
I'd rather get rid of How to Train Your Dragon live action because I've got
Ooh.
an animated film. I could
That's
just
good.
watch.
That makes sense, yeah. So the third film we saw recently, well, obviously we saw How to Train Your Dragon together. We saw the next film together, and F1 we saw separately. But yeah, this one we saw yesterday, so it's fresh in the mind.
Got a
Definitely,
nice pick and mix, didn't you?
I did actually. Yeah.
This is my great cinema hack now.
You
Isn't
want to
it?
tell people about yourself?
Oh, if I must. So
you don't really want to get it out there.
I don't know. Should I not tell people?
I'd tell people.
So next to the Odin where we live, there's an Asda, and they do a £3 pick and mix, and it's good quality. Like you get a decent amount. So it should.
I eat a lot.
Yeah.
And I got like 3/4 way through. Like I didn't finish it from the film, and it's a pretty long film.
Yeah. Well, I finished mine because I eat more.
So like, I have a lot of jelly beans filled in there.
Yeah.
We were saying you've got to be quite tactical with it because you get obviously a cup, you can fill it.
So this was like £3, and then if you go into the actual cinema, I think the 1 week it's exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Costs £5.
Yeah. Or do they weigh it there even? Maybe?
Well, it said something to do with weight as well, so it could even be to do with that.
Yeah. Whereas in Asda you can just shove as much in as you want, can't you?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's. I mean, just an overall cinema discussion. What do you think of popcorn as a cinema snack?
I know Tom Cruise loves it. Have you ever seen the videos of him like just talking about popcorn?
No.
It's really weird. Have you ever seen the video? He's just like throwing popcorn into his mouth, and he's just like, "I love popcorn."
I think he just loves movies. Like he watches like loads a day or something.
Yeah, he tries to watch like one film a day. I always see that everywhere. But I'd probably I would never buy it really because I'm
not
just
from the cinema.
no.
Or even in general.
I probably haven't bought popcorn in years from the cinema.
But is it not good because you're just not buying it? Like maybe it is better than
No, probably it is good, but I just wouldn't do it.
The reason it's such a cinema, I don't know the original history behind popcorn and cinema, but I'd say it's one of these things you can grab. It's easy to share. It's quiet as well, isn't it?
Is it?
Is it?
I don't know. Would you say
it's quieter than crisps?
It's quiet, yeah.
Or natural.
Yeah, I guess that.
The roguest. What's the roguest cinema snack you've ever took in to a cinema or had?
You've got some grim ones.
I have got some good ones. That's why I'm asking a question.
I don't think I have any too bad ones. Maybe I probably bought like a Mackie.
You bought a Mackey's in before?
Yeah, probably, but.
I stink the place out.
Oh, okay. Go on. You tell it. So, I think the worst things that anyone should bring in a cinema is anything that's cold and smells.
Why cold?
I don't know. I don't know why I said
you
cold.
You don't mind the smell of like cooked things then? Cinema?
I think it smells nice. No matter what it is, it smells nicer. But like, if you bring something fishy,
I think I've had sushi in there before.
I don't know if sushi's too bad, but it's not great.
Just one little snack. You don't want something. You don't always want like. Crisps or chocolate or sweet.
And like another cinema thing is that you need to any packets you've got, open them before. I know it's hard because you want to eat them or whatever, but just open them before.
I had Fantastics when I went to F1.
Yeah.
Fantastics was it? basically I bought chocolate and Fantastics, and I can't remember, I think it was my chocolate ones actually. I started trying to open it, I couldn't open it, it was making such a racket.
Yeah.
There's like a dialogue scene, guy with like 3 rows in front of me turns around, like, you can see that and I'm like, shit.
That's so
I
cool
was trying
from
to do it
you.
so slowly, so I try and open the packet right out so it just creates as little sound as possible. Yeah.
That's so bad from you, but you do have some awful. You took some bad.
Scotch eggs before in the cinema. Fridge raiders, pretty smelly, aren't they? I'd say.
That's up there with the worst kind of stuff. I swear you had a pork pie as well. Pork pie.
I think I've just kept it at Scotch eggs, to be honest.
I think Scotch eggs is what eggy, breaded egg.
Yeah, but at least they're not loud.
Yeah, but it stinks.
What sort of grinds your gears at the cinema? Is there any sort of behaviours from people? Because obviously cinema's great, but we have to share it with people.
I don't mind if you come in late and you want to miss the adverts, fair enough. But know where you're going once you're in there.
What do you mean?
Like,
oh yeah, you can't be...
Don't be turning your phone on, don't be turning your torch on. Just use the light of your phone, just turn it on just enough so you can see the numbers, but don't have your massive fuck off torch on, because it's not necessary. Know exactly what seat just before you go. You got a little corridor before you go. Check there. You're not harming anyone. Even if the film's just starting, that's fine. Just sit down.
When people are coming in as the film started, get there before
it starts. Yeah.
I know that, you might be running late or something. Things happen, but whatever you do, don't turn your torch on.
Yeah.
It can be dark.
Torch is a no-go. And I actually don't hate people talking in the cinema, because I do it sometimes.
No.
About the film. You sort of like a little off comment.
It can only be a comment though. It can't be like discussion.
No. If you're having a chat like how's David or whatever.
How about chatting during trailers?
Fine.
Yeah, okay.
Fine. I'll probably go on my phone at points during that.
For me, it's like when it's like the TV ads, chat all
TV ads.
But when it's trailers, maybe it doesn't bother me if someone's talking that much. But I don't know. Like we say, we don't always get there for the trailers, do we? Like the cinema I was in when I watched F1 was like there was 2 people talking like all the way through trailers. Like they stop when the film starts.
As long as they stop, that's fine.
I didn't mind. Yeah. Anything else? Well, nowadays, when you go, you always go to recliners, don't you?
Yeah.
So I think the main problem is when you're in a busy cinema, which to be fair, it's quite rare nowadays. The one that we go to here though is quite busy. It's always
busy.
If you weren't in recliner, you'd be like very close to people, wouldn't you? And that would be quite annoying and hot and annoying. But the recliners are spaced out and it makes it quite a comfortable experience. But
it's turned me into a snob now, and I can't go to the cinema without being in recliners.
Yeah, but it's worth the extra like couple of quid you pay.
Yeah, I know, but it's just like.
And it's like if the film's crap, at least you can have a lie down.
I always think this: if I'm in a recliner, I'm like, if this film is too bad, I can just shut my eyes and I can have a nap. If I really want to, because if it's that bad, it's fine.
Although sometimes I've felt myself almost falling asleep even when I like the film, like Ewan. I remember liking that. But the music
is all very like, I feel like you can fall asleep to it, like a bit sparry, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
Hans Zimmer at it again.
Yeah.
He actually did the F1.
He did the sound. Well, yeah.
Which explains maybe why you thought the music was quite good again.
Yeah, but I was talking about the licensed music as well.
Yeah.
But one last thing, what would you say, like, from what cinemas sell, what do you think is the best snack? Because you got like, they do like rollover hot dogs.
No way.
I actually quite like them.
You've had one?
Not from the cinema, but I've had them.
Oh.
What nachos?
Nachos
from the cinema are very good.
Do you think they taste any better than like normal nachos? I think it's a good snack though.
Yeah,
no. The dips as well.
When you get all the dips, some jalapenos, you got a bit of cheese on there as well. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I can't.
It's a good cinema snack. I agree.
But you got like Tango Ice Fast as well. I know a few years ago, every time you go to the cinema, you'd get a Tango Ice.
I know, yeah. They're expensive, but it's the only place you could get them, wasn't it? So.
But we all know that one person that every time they go to the cinema, they just buy absolutely everything, don't they? And we all know that person. I know someone.
Do you?
Yeah, come on. We all know who.
Yeah.
Every single snack.
Really?
Well, no, it's just like Tango Ice and nachos. I don't know. That's it, really.
Is there like chicken? You can get like chicken goujons, can't you? Yeah, I think you can, like chicken bites or something.
Yeah.
Um,
But I rarely spend
would you
any
like
money.
Tango Ice first?
Not really. I don't like. I like slushes, but I don't like the fizzy slushes.
I used to get it a lot, and I don't think I've had one in like 5 years.
No, but you used to get one every time you go to cinema. You'd get one, but now I haven't seen you one in years. With her.
Maybe they are good. I like them, and they last for a long time as well.
Yeah, because like even if they melt, you still drink it.
Yeah.
Can't you?
Yeah.
Yes, that's gonna be up there. You know what we should do one week? We should do a tier list of cinema snacks.
Movies. This little segment here has been pretty good. Just cinema etiquette. Is there anything else on etiquette wise you want in the cinema? How about when you finish the film? Do you think you should stay for the credits? Be respectful.
I think you should most of the time. I think you should stay for the pre-credits. When it's like maybe a bit animated or like a. But not stay for the whole thing.
Oh yeah, that little credits.
Yeah.
And then you've got the long black background rolling credits.
What about? Do you think you should take your shoes off? I think that's okay.
I do that.
I do that, but like not if you if you got socks on. You shouldn't be raw. Feet shouldn't be out. Is what I'm saying.
Our mum got her feet out.
Did she?
Yeah.
Ugh.
The dog's out in the
So that's, in my opinion, that's not.
And she was next to someone as well.
That's not.
That's controversial, I'd say.
Yeah, that is.
Also, like kids screaming.
Yeah, but like they're kids though, and you can't control a kid scream. If it depends what film you're at. If you're at Lilo and
So we were watching, to reveal the film, we're going to talk about Jurassic World Rebirth.
Yeah.
Rebirth.
A lot of kids in that cinema.
That's what I'm saying. There was a lot of kids running about the front. I thought there was dinosaurs coming out the screen. Like,
there
was a kid next to us who they looked scared shitless, didn't they?
It
was quite a tense film, and it was quite good, this film.
I thought it was good.
It's fresh in our memory, so we're going to talk about it. I don't know how it's done so far.
I think it's doing okay from what it...
I'll have a look, and you want to talk about what you thought of the film?
Yeah, I mean, I was a big fan. I thought, the only thing I would say I was a bit confused about with all the timings of, like, where we were in this universe. I think it just...
Yeah, I didn't understand if we were taking place just how far after. It was obviously after Jurassic World, so the theme park.
Yeah, but
it said, how long after?
It said, 17 years ago. 17 years ago from what?
It said 17 years ago, and then it went present day.
Yeah, but when's present day?
Now.
But...
Like 2025.
Really though? Is that how that works?
I guess, but maybe.
But it said 17 years ago. But then in that, that first scene when they're in developing the dinosaurs. They're developing the dinosaurs for Jurassic World. So
but
that wasn't 17 years ago.
Jurassic World happened like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
17 years ago, they're developing the dinosaurs for that.
No. That's when, because they were saying they wanted newer dinosaurs. They wanted these. They wanted more like they wanted these genetically. I don't know. That would have been after, like the Indo-Rex, whatever it's called. So it's going to be during that period. So it just doesn't.
Is that what that D-Rex was?
Yeah. So it just. Is that what you call it, mate? But it just, for me, it just didn't really make. I don't know. It did, but
what time era it's set in. But in terms of the film, I thought it was quite good. Don't get me wrong, it's not the best film. It's not on the level of the first.
But I'd still say it's probably the third best Jurassic Park film.
Yeah, I suppose you compare it to like Jurassic World, the first one. I mean, the last two. Let's get it right. Jurassic World 2 and Jurassic World 3. Can't really remember much about them.
They're not great.
They weren't great, were they?
Jurassic Park 1 is iconic, but then it kind of just...
You mean Jurassic World?
No, I'm just saying Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I mean, even in the original trilogy, Jurassic World Park, I can't speak, it's either Park or World. Basically, there's been about 2 good movies.
Yeah.
There's been 1 really good movie.
There's like good moments in these other films, but like they're just not... I don't like... Honestly, if I was going to rate Jurassic Park films, I'd probably say the Jurassic Park 2.
Yeah.
Then Jurassic Park 2. Then like the Jurassic Park Dominion and Jurassic Park. Jurassic.
Guys, stop making sequels. You're confusing us.
So Jurassic Park 2. Then you got Jurassic World Dominion. That's the one where they bring everyone back, isn't it? So then you've got Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
Is So that's the second one.
So that's the second one. I'd put that there. Then Jurassic Park 3. Then
Would help if they just called it Jurassic World.
Then
1, 2, 3.
Then
4,
Jurassic. Is this Jurassic Park or Jurassic World?
This is Jurassic World.
So Jurassic World Rebirth.
Yeah.
Then Jurassic World. Then Jurassic Park. Oh, Jesus.
That was so long. That was back at the dinosaur age.
God, feel prehistoric after that.
Yeah. Honestly, I thought Scarlett Johansson and Jonathan Bailey, that was a good duo. I liked.
People don't like Scarlett Johansson in this.
Really?
Yeah. But I think they're just hating a bit.
I thought she was fine.
Yeah,
I say she put in an incredible performance, but it worked.
It's just fine. She was good.
She's basically Black Widow. She's like, I'm a spy.
I didn't get that. It's when she was kind of talking about that she's a spy. I was like,
I thought they were gonna make a reference.
Yeah, I honestly thought they would.
To be a spy or something. Yeah. And then Jonathan Bailey was. I think they did a good job at making his character a bit of a nerd and not one of these nerds gets scared of everything.
Yeah.
Because that annoys me when they do that. He's still a bit scared at the normal things you'd be scared at. But I think my favourite scene in the movie is when those two Brontosaurus things were mating.
Yeah.
He was like, woo, after it, he was sort of in the moment. I thought that was a good scene.
I saw people saying that was kind of I feel like in all these films, there's a moment, isn't there?
Where they're like, wow, dinosaurs.
And the music kicks in.
The romantic
you've got the first one when they sees the Broncos across all the fields. God, I don't know what it is in the other two. But then you've got Jurassic World, and it's like when the Broncos are dead, and it all kicks in or whatever.
I mean, you can say the story of this film wasn't great, but for me, the highlight...
It was simple, wasn't it?
Simple, yeah. The highlight for me was the special effects and the tense scenes.
Yeah.
They were just cool.
It wasn't
the T-Rex scene in the raft, I thought that was great. I really got behind the family, wanting them to survive and stuff, obviously.
It made me think I'd love a kind of maybe something like it, but a bit more horror-y.
Well,
a proper horror film.
Comparing this to saying it was like Kong Skull Island, but without the charm.
Yeah,
people
maybe.
love that film.
I know. I really like that film.
I
actually.
remember that being a good film. But I mean, I thought I do get that. That probably had a bit more stylistic charm to it, doesn't it? Than this. It seems a bit more.
It felt a bit. At points, it did feel a bit a bit lifeless, and it felt for me, it felt quite disconnected from the kind of outer universe of it, which you're taking one or two.
Mate. It's a rebirth of the franchise.
Yeah, but I like how it doesn't. It seems very standalone, and I think if they are going to do anything because the way they formatted Jurassic World, they made that into a proper. They wanted this kind of. It was a proper trilogy, wasn't it? Where we had the park fails, then they go back to the park to try save the dinosaurs, then the dinosaurs get back to the world and they have to try sort that out. So it did have a bit more of it has a 3-act structure in a way, but
this 3-act structure in a way was sort of, you had the start bit and then you had them, it was very much, you had the 3 dinosaurs they had to get.
Yeah.
And that dinosaur at the end, what a freak! What the hell?
Yeah,
Can we just keep dinosaurs are cool enough? Can we just keep
you know how they're on about in the movie where it's they were a T-Rex wasn't enough and whatever. You do realise you're kind of actually just doing that, but in the film scenario. Because now a T-Rex isn't enough.
Yeah.
You have to make it.
It's a bit of irony.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It is enough. Not to be realistic, but you've already got dinosaurs alive. Do we have to push it further? Do we really have to? I suppose it's
To be fair, in Jurassic World, I did like the whole Indominus Rex thing. I did quite like that.
I suppose it's their sort of play on no matter what, there's always people in the world that are going to want more. You know what I mean? There's always people who want to take it too far. And obviously this is a result of taking it too
another
far.
thing we said was, I feel like the deaths are a bit predictable.
Oh yeah. That black guy with the beard was always going to die. He was just hanging on. The ones that didn't speak are they're so dead.
I mean, he was speaking French. As soon as he spoke a lick of French, I was like, you're gone, mate.
Yeah,
so gone.
Was so gone.
Yeah.
That guy, the gun guy, I thought he might last a bit longer because I recognised the actor.
Yeah, same with it.
But he was gone quite quickly, wasn't he?
But then you've got the rich guy as well. He was start, he shows his colours and he's
Yeah, the
clearly a
deaths
bit of a dick,
are
and then you're
very
like, you're
predictable.
gonna die, aren't you?
The deaths and what happened was very predictable, but still, I think they did a really good job. The action sequences I thought were great. That was the highlight of this film. Action sequence is really good. And
Tense, like all the kind of like the creepy kind of crawly moments. You are a bit like, you're a bit still.
I think it looked cool as well.
Yeah.
Like the filming locations were great. I thought like the jungle. That's exactly where you want to see a dinosaur, isn't it?
I think that's what maybe the other films have missed. I think.
Yeah. I don't want to see a dinosaur in New York. I don't want to see a dinosaur. I want to see it in the jungle.
Yeah.
In the wild.
You want to see it in this kind of prehistoric environment, don't you? And they say this in the film. They say all the dinosaurs are dead.
Yeah.
Apart from the ones that live along the
So
the equator.
To get them there.
And
the first place,
yeah.
But yeah, good film, and they're probably gonna do a sequel because why would you call it Rebirth?
I don't think they'll do a sequel.
But they'll do more Jurassic World.
But
films.
I think they could be doing more. Yeah, and
I'm just trying to see how much money it's made so far.
I think it's done all right. I think it had a budget of about 100,
I mean,
180.
the cinema we were in was pretty damn full, wasn't it?
We were at the front. We can get a seat anywhere else. It was pretty. It was. I mean, it's on a Saturday mid afternoon. It's going to be busy, but
yeah. So far it's only been out a few days. Isn't
came
it?
out Thursday.
Yeah. So obviously that's 4th of July weekend in the US.
Yeah.
Big weekend for cinemas that is, I think. But it's made 82 million worldwide. But it's a bit interesting on the box office mojo. It just says domestic and it's the same as worldwide. So I'm not quite sure exactly, but I think it will do all right again. As they tend to do. That's why they keep making them.
Yeah.
But yeah. What would you rate out of 10 if we're sort of sticking with our...
We'll go 7.5.
I'd probably go 6.5, I think.
That's fair.
But again, I liked it. To me, it was the most interesting one since Jurassic World.
It was a bit more different, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are 3 films we've seen recently with a bit of chat of cinema etiquette and, of course, cinema snacks in there as well.
Yeah, and what we got Superman next week. I don't know.
Superman next week, yeah.
We've had some good films recently. I know I've seen a lot of people online saying we're in a generational run, which I can't say I fully agree with, but we've had good films.
We had 28 Years Later, which was very good, I thought. Ewan hasn't seen that yet, and I think we will maybe even do like an extended talk on that, on the 3 films. You've just got to watch them, because I've seen all 3, and it's very interesting. There's a lot of discussion there with that.
I will watch it. I just need to get around to it. I'll probably watch it this week.
Yeah, and then we've got Superman coming out, and Fantastic Four, so big summer of superhero hits, and we'll be on top of it here on Superman Cinema.
We should be more on it now. I'd say there should be more pods to come.
We'll do one soon on 28 years, and I'm sure Superman will be all on this discussion. And again,
I'm very excited for Superman. Should be good.
Back with Fantastic Four, we'll have to see. A question we posed recently in our other podcast.
But the Fantastic Four is going to be big. It's going to be an event.
Yeah.
James Gunn. That's Superman, mate.
That's true. James Gunn's Superman. That's it. There's so many superhero films, can't even keep up. But yeah, I'm interested to see because this is sort of a rebirth, Jurassic Park rebirth for the DC franchise, isn't it? So that will be interesting indeed. But anyway, thank you for listening, guys. We are back. Just like back. Oasis. But now we're going to slide away into the distance until next week, or maybe the week after. We shall see. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.
Just got to roll with it, guys. Come on. All right, then. Bye.
Ciao.
Oh, you're so cultural, aren't you? Ciao.